With less than 30 days to go before the NFL draft, there is still a great deal of uncertainty surrounding who will be selected with the 4th overall pick. This uncertainty is particularly notable for the New England Patriots, who are in a crucial position to make a move that could shape the future of their franchise. While the draft draws closer, many fans and analysts are left speculating about the direction the Patriots will take with their selection. Will they stay put and draft a potential game-changing player? Or could they trade down and accumulate more assets to bolster their roster? And if they do decide to select a player, could there be a possibility of a trade involving a current player on the roster? As always, the NFL draft is filled with intrigue and mystery, and teams across the league are looking for their next franchise quarterback. However, this year's quarterback class is far from impressive. Many of the top quarterbacks in the draft have their own flaws, and none of them seem to be the kind of surefire, generational talent that teams would feel confident in selecting with a high pick. For the Patriots, who have long been accustomed to having one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time in Tom Brady, finding the next great signal caller is a daunting task. They know that the clock is ticking, and eventually they will need to find a successor to Brady, or at the very least, a quarterback who can lead the team for the next few years. And yet, despite the pressing need for a quarterback, there's one name that keeps resurfacing in the conversation surrounding the Patriots: Joe Milton. Yes, Joe Milton, the current backup quarterback for the team, who has become a point of much debate and intrigue. Now, I know this isn't a conversation most Patriots fans want to be having right now. After all, Milton has been a backup for most of his career, and his performance hasn't exactly been stellar. But the reality is, as the draft approaches, more and more attention is being paid to the potential of players like Milton. And for better or for worse, Milton's name has continued to make headlines, leaving many to wonder whether the Patriots might view him as a legitimate option for the future, or whether they will look to the draft for a new face under center. The discussion surrounding Joe Milton is not new. It's something that has been talked about for a while now, and it's a topic that continues to evolve as more information comes to light. Recently, reports have surfaced that Milton has expressed a desire to join a team where he has the best chance of competing for a starting job. While this may sound like a normal aspiration for any player, it raises some questions for the Patriots. After all, it's hard to imagine Milton starting over someone like Drake May, unless something completely unexpected happens. Perhaps a significant injury to May would open the door for Milton to step in and seize the opportunity. But let's be honest, that's not a scenario anyone would wish for. Injuries are a part of the game, but they are never a desirable way for a player to earn a starting role. Still, in the world of sports, anything can happen, and we can't completely rule out the possibility of something unforeseen taking place. The likelihood of Joe Milton becoming the starter for the Patriots seems incredibly low at this point. Sure, there's a small chance that something could change, but as things stand, it's hard to see Milton stepping in as the team's starting quarterback. However, that doesn't mean his value is insignificant. Milton, who was selected in the 6th round of the draft, is still relatively young and could be an intriguing option for a team looking for a backup quarterback or even a potential trade piece. Teams around the league are constantly evaluating their quarterbacks and looking for opportunities to improve their roster, and Milton could be one of those players who finds himself in a trade scenario, especially if a team is willing to part with a solid draft pick in exchange for a backup quarterback with some upside. At 25 years old, Milton has shown flashes of talent, but consistency has been his biggest issue. He has the physical tools necessary to succeed in the NFL. He has a powerful arm and has shown the ability to make some jaw-dropping throws. But the question remains, can he perform at a high level consistently? That's the question that has plagued Milton throughout his career, and it's the reason why he was drafted in the 6th round instead of higher. The potential is there, but the question remains whether or not he can execute week in and week out. There have been glimpses of that consistency, especially in college, but the big question is whether he can replicate that success at the NFL level. Of course, people will point to his performance against the Buffalo Bills, where Milton had a standout game. In that game, he completed 22 passes out of 29 attempts, throwing for 241 yards and 2 touchdowns, one through the air and one on the ground. It was an impressive performance, No doubt, but it's important to put into context. The Bills were not in a typical NFL situation during that game. Teams don't intentionally lose games, but sometimes the stakes are not as high as they would be in a playoff scenario. In that instance, the Bills were not playing at full strength, and they weren't necessarily doing everything they could to win the game. So while Milton had a solid performance, it's important to keep that in mind when evaluating his play. Milton's strong arm and impressive performances in practice have earned him some praise, and it's clear that the Patriots have seen something in him. But at the end of the day, he's still a backup quarterback who has yet to prove himself as a consistent starter in the NFL. And that's where the conversation gets tricky. If the Patriots receive a good offer for him, a solid trade package that could help them improve their roster, it may be in their best interest to move on from Milton and acquire assets that could help the team in the future. The Patriots have made it clear that they are committed to building a competitive team, and they need to do whatever it takes to make that happen. If they believe that trading Milton will bring back valuable assets, then they should seriously consider it. At the end of the day, the NFL is a business, and every team needs to think about their long-term success. Milton may be a talented quarterback, but if the Patriots can get a return that will help them in the future, then it may be time to say goodbye. As we approach the draft, it seems more and more likely that Milton could be moved, especially if the Patriots find a team willing to take a chance on him. Whether that leads to a trade before or after the draft, only time will tell. At this point, it's clear that the Patriots have options. They have a quarterback who is capable of contributing in a backup role, but if a trade opportunity arises, they could look to capitalize on it. As we approach the draft, all eyes are on the Patriots and what they plan to do with that 4th overall pick. Will they stay put and draft a future star, or will they make a move to improve their roster in other ways? The next few weeks will tell us a lot about the direction the team is headed. As the draft approaches, the reality of the Patriots situation becomes even clearer. They are at a crossroads, faced with significant decisions that will shape the direction of the team for years to come. The 4th overall pick holds immense value, and the pressure to make the right choice is undeniably high. The franchise has a long history of success, but with the departure of Tom Brady and the uncertain future at the quarterback position, the team has struggled to find a stable leader under center. The current roster includes veterans and promising young talents, but without a clear quarterback of the future, the team remains in limbo. This is where the decision regarding Joe Milton could play a crucial role. Milton's potential as a trade asset is undeniable, and teams across the league are undoubtedly taking note of the possibility of acquiring him. Whether the Patriots can capitalize on this potential remains to be seen. His skill set is intriguing, but the lack of consistent performance over the years raises significant questions. Nevertheless, the physical traits are undeniable. His arm strength and ability to make big throws are attractive to any team looking for a backup quarterback with upside. And at 25 years old, Milton is still young enough to be developed into something more. But the reality is that Milton's journey in the NFL has been marked by inconsistency. It's one thing to showcase flashes of brilliance in college, but it's another to replicate that success in the NFL, where every play counts and the margin for error is razor thin. For the Patriots, this is where the dilemma lies. They could keep Milton, develop him further, and hope that he eventually becomes the player they envisioned when they selected him in the 6th round. But that scenario is far from guaranteed. The NFL is a results-driven league, and there's only so much patience available for a backup quarterback who has yet to prove he can consistently perform at a high level. With the draft on the horizon, the Patriots must weigh the potential of Milton against the reality of their current roster and the future of their quarterback position. It's also important to consider the external factors that could influence the Patriots' decision-making process. The market for quarterbacks is always in flux, and teams are constantly looking for ways to upgrade at the position. If a team expresses serious interest in Milton and is willing to part with valuable draft picks or players, the Patriots would be wise to listen. After all, the goal of every NFL team is to improve its roster, and if trading Milton can provide the Patriots with assets that will help them win in the long term, it's an opportunity they can't afford to ignore. But what if the Patriots choose to keep Milton and continue to develop him? It's not out of the realm of possibility that Milton could eventually grow into a reliable backup quarterback or even an eventual starter, should the circumstances arise. But again, this is a risky proposition, and the Patriots will have to carefully assess whether the potential rewards are worth the uncertainty. Milton has shown glimpses of talent, but that alone may not be enough to secure a spot on the roster long-term. In the competitive world of the NFL, a quarterback who has yet to prove himself consistently isn't going to be handed a job just based on potential. Looking at the landscape of the NFL, it's clear that many teams are on the hunt for their next quarterback. The class of quarterbacks in the draft this year may not be the strongest, but that doesn't mean there aren't teams willing to take risks and gamble on players with potential. In fact, there's a chance that teams could be more willing to give players like Milton a shot, hoping that with the right coaching and development, they can become the next big thing. For the Patriots, this could present an opportunity to move Milton to a team that is looking for a backup quarterback with some upside in exchange for assets that could help bolster the team in other areas. But in the end, the question remains, is Joe Milton the future of the Patriots? Or is he simply a player who is best suited for a change of scenery, where he can potentially flourish in a different system? That's something only time will tell. The Patriots have always been a team that is focused on making the best decisions for the long-term success of the franchise, and this situation is no different. If they feel that Milton can be part of their future, they'll keep him around and continue to develop him. If they believe that trading him for a solid return is the best move, they won't hesitate to make that move. Regardless of what happens with Milton, the Patriots will still need to make a major decision about their quarterback position in the coming years. Whether that decision involves drafting a quarterback in the upcoming draft or looking elsewhere for a long-term solution, the pressure is on for the team to get it right. The fourth overall pick will likely play a major role in shaping the team's future, and the Patriots must be strategic in their approach. The NFL is a league of constant change, and every team is always looking for the next big thing. The Patriots have been fortunate to have one of the best quarterbacks in NFL history for 2 decades, but those days are now behind them. The team is at a crossroads, and the decisions they make over the next few weeks will have lasting implications for the future of the franchise. The fourth overall pick in the draft is a crucial piece of the puzzle, and whether the Patriots use it to select a quarterback or trade it for additional assets, they must approach the situation with caution and foresight. As we approach the draft, the speculation surrounding the Patriots' plans continues to grow. Will they stick with Joe Milton as their backup quarterback, or will they decide to trade him for a valuable return? It's a decision that could have significant consequences for the future of the franchise. And while the focus is often on the players the team might draft, it's also important to remember that the moves they make before and after the draft will be just as crucial in determining the success of the team going forward. The road ahead is uncertain, but one thing is clear. The Patriots are at a critical juncture in their quest to return to prominence in the NFL. How they handle this situation, particularly with regard to the quarterback position, will be key to their success in the years to come. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to Patriots Hub and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest updates on our New England Patriots. And don't be shy. Share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. The New England Patriots have set the NFL world abuzz with their ambitious move to land All-Pro cornerback Jalen Ramsey. After a challenging season that saw their defense struggle against elite quarterbacks, the Patriots front office has identified Ramsey as the game-changing force needed to restore their defensive dominance. The move, however, is far from simple, as the Miami Dolphins recently committed to Ramsey with a lucrative contract extension, making any potential deal a high-stakes negotiation. Ramsey, widely regarded as one of the league's premier shutdown corners, would bring immediate credibility to a Patriots secondary that has been plagued by inconsistency. His combination of elite coverage skills, physicality, and leadership could be the perfect complement to New England's defensive scheme, especially with head coach Bill Belichick's history of maximizing defensive talent. However, the Patriots will need to present a compelling trade package to convince the Dolphins to part ways with a player who has been instrumental in their defense's resurgence. Adding fuel to the fire is Ramsey's history with the Patriots. His Miami Dolphins tenure included a pivotal moment in 2023 when he intercepted a pass from Mac Jones during a dominant victory over New England, showcasing his ability to turn the tide of a game. Belichick has long admired Ramsey's skill set, and sources close to the situation suggest that the Patriots are exploring multiple trade scenarios to make this blockbuster deal happen. Whether Miami is willing to strengthen a division rival remains a critical obstacle. The financial aspect of the move is also a significant factor. Ramsey's current deal makes him the highest-paid cornerback in the league, and any trade would likely require contract restructuring or the Patriots taking on a considerable financial burden. New England, however, has the cap space and the willingness to invest in a player of Ramsey's caliber, especially given their pressing need to return to postseason contention. While negotiations remain in the early stages, the possibility of Jalen Ramsey donning a Patriots jersey has already sparked intense debate among fans and analysts alike. If New England can pull off this audacious move, it would not only revitalize their defense, but also send a clear message that they are ready to reclaim their place among the NFL's elite. The coming weeks could determine whether this is merely a bold ambition or the next chapter in the Patriots' storied history of game-changing acquisitions. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our New England Patriots, be sure to subscribe to Patriots Hub and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.